Howdy, so I played My Child of Ages. This is a third-person action-adventure game. It's sort of a 3D platformer as well. This is a game for those who like Zelda. Specifically, Ocarina of Time. This game is very influenced by that. Maybe a little bit of Wind Waker as well with the art style. This is that type of game. You're playing this character who starts out as this little girl, and she's going around collecting things for her grandpa, and her grandpa is not feeling great. He's feeling a little unwell, and your goal of the game is to try to do what you can to help him out, make him feel better. As you go into the game, you have a hub area with your house, and there you can craft items to give you more inventory space or help you progress further into the game. As you're going through the world, you're collecting all kinds of stuff. You're collecting wood pieces, butterflies, shells. I mean, there's so many things to collect in this game. You're just endlessly collecting and picking stuff up as you go. And some items, such as flowers, help give you ability boosts. So this game has a lot of different areas to it. You go to one area that's basically a tutorial dungeon. Then you go to a forest area that's another sort of tutorial dungeon. As you're playing this game, you're starting out as this little girl. Her abilities are jumping very high, picking up plants. There's a variety of plants that do a variety of different things. Some give you a little bit of a jump boost. Some you can use to attack enemies. There's a lot of variety there. After you get to a certain point, though, you come across this flower. And once you go inside this flower, you time travel, and this little girl becomes a teenager, young adult. And once you're a teenager, young adult, you have different abilities. You're not able to really jump too far. You can kind of use your leg to push yourself up a little obstacle, but that's about it. However, you can climb. So instead of jumping and platforming around, you're climbing up. You have stamina bar to climb. You get boosts as you're climbing to go further up. And you get some action in here. When you're the adult, you get a weapon. You can use it to fight enemies that are hanging around. You got a shield. You can dodge. Very Zelda reminiscent in terms of the combat, at least for me as well. As you're going through the game, essentially, what you're doing is you're alternating between these two timelines. And as you go into these plants and alternate timelines, the environment around you drastically changes. And you have to learn how to navigate that. And once you kind of learn how that works, then the world opens up a bit more. You start to see what the map of the world is like. You get this little ship, very reminiscent of Wind Waker, that you're going from island to island. And you might have the little islands you stop by along the way to pick up little extra items, but there's main central hub areas you go to. And once you get there, eventually you'll come across another type of planet that allows you to fast travel. And once you unlock that, you can fast travel back to previous areas. And that's very helpful with this game. Again, as you continue through the game, you're collecting items to upgrade yourself. You want to go back to your house and upgrade those items. You're still collecting things to upgrade your character even as an adult, but what you're collecting is slightly different. You might collect more flowers, but you're collecting different types of butterflies and that sort of thing. So each time you time travel, you're getting a somewhat different experience. So as you're playing through the game, it does feel that Ocarina of Time sort of sense of constantly going back and forth between time to get through obstacles, to open locations, to get past enemies, to continue on as far as you can in the experience. So with what I played up to the second main hub area. I used a controller, even though I played it on PC. The controller, for the most part, worked fine. The combat was okay. It did require a lot of dodging. Even though there was a shield, I didn't really figure out how to use the shield all that well. Even me in action games, though, I rarely use a shield. I rarely defend. I go on the attack. So when fighting enemies, smaller enemies take less hits, bigger enemies take more hits. even from the first fight, I was struggling a little bit. You can die pretty quickly if you can't figure out the combat right away. The good thing, though, is the checkpoint is decent enough. It kind of takes you right back to before you enter the fight. You can see the enemies ahead of you, so you know where you're going into. Sometimes you have to fight a group of enemies to unlock an area to get past, because there'll be like a shield over it. So the combat was like okay overall for me. I was able to attack when I could, but the dodging sometimes, I feel like the timing was a little bit off, but that could have been on me. There was somewhat of a little parry system there, but I didn't really use it all that much. I would basically just dodge, attack on the bigger enemies, or if I got lucky, I could kind of stagnate or freeze an enemy in a sense where the frame of the enemy would kind of just stay still and the enemy wouldn't move. So I could straight up go to the enemy and then attack it multiple times before it had a chance to even land a hit on me. And that way I could just knock it down really quickly. It just kind of depended on the moment what was going on. The fast travel was pretty quick overall, getting from place to place. So was transitioning from adult to a kid. That was pretty quick. The platforming felt mostly okay overall. There was chances to swim in the game too, where you build up your ability to swim. Although I didn't really get much of an opportunity to actually like dive in and swim, but it looks like you definitely can. I would just kind of go on the surface, swimming up top from one location to another. Although I couldn't really travel too far into it, at least early on in the game. I could only swim up to a certain point. So the game does have that sense of you doubling back to places once in a while that you can really get to before, once you build up your stamina or your abilities a little bit more. So there's a little bit of revisit there, hence the fast traveling. The game didn't really have any voiceover to it. It was just text dialogue for the most part, which worked fine. The music I really enjoyed though. The music, especially at the beginning, was kind of like calm, peaceful, chill music. And then the game would kind of pick up a little bit more with that classic adventure music as you got into fights and stuff. To wrap things up, if you like older Zelda games, Ocarina of Time specifically, with the time traveling, you're probably gonna vibe with this game. It's cute, it's a fun little experience to have. Worth checking out and spending your time on it if you like those style of games.